Okay, let's get into it. So, I want to make this a segment for content creator advice for artists. So, what inspired me to go ahead and talk about this was there was a quote. Now, if you tell somebody that you're an artist, you're going to get a couple different responses. You can say, hey, I'm an artist. They might say, oh, well, what type of music do you do? And you might have to clarify and say, well, I do fashion or I paint on clothes or I paint canvases, I paint portraits. There's so many things. When you say I'm an artist, there's so many things that if it art, what is art? What is art? Is it photography? Is it videography? Is it modeling? Is it fashion? Is it painting? Is it drawing? Is it music? Art is a very broad definition. And so, as an artist, there are some people who are famous for their art. This is a very famous oil painter. This is a very famous acrylic painter. There might be an artist famous for one medium in a particular art. That's painting. They could be a music artist. Well, what type of music you do? Is it R&B? Is it rapping? Is it singing? What type of artist? And so like you can narrow it down. What type of artist is a poet? Is a poet an artist? So that's one thing, right? Now, as an artist, if you want to challenge yourself to be a better artist, you might start to delve out and work with different mediums. You might want to do pottery. You might want to do. You might want to do fashion. And even with the fashion, you might go from painting on clothes. You might go from painting on clothes. But this, is it painting? I screen printed. That's another thing that you'll get into if you go down fashion, if you go down with the clothing route. Screen printing. So the quote that I saw was a jack of all trades is a master of none. A jack of all trades is a master of none. And another artist, remember, they say the dumbest question is the question not asked. The dumbest question is a question not asked. And the reason they say that is because once you ask that question, you'll get some type of uh, confirmation, and but you progress, you move forward, and you're learning and you're understanding. The reason I say that is also because if you're bold enough to ask that question, somebody else probably also had the same question, but didn't have enough courage to ask it. So it's like, ask the question, because somebody else also probably has the same question. Now, as an artist, she that quote frustrated her. A jack of all trades is a master of none. That frustrated her because she's like, as an artist, do I have to just narrow and focus myself in on just one thing? That's that's kind of hard. That's a very limited mindset if you want to branch out and explore other mediums. The quote's not finished. The quote also says, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but is oftentimes better than a master of one. So a jack of all trades has a hand in many pots, but a master of only one thing. Well, which one is more marketable? Now, if you went to college and studied in the STEM field, and I'm going to focus on engineering. Do you know they say the most employable engineer is the mechanical engineer? And that puts you in a different place because if you're a mechanical engineer, you're much more marketable and employable. But somebody might just be looking for an electrical engineer. Somebody might be looking for a nuclear engineer, and that's in the STEM field. But as an artist, what is it best to be at? So, with those who are also artists and content creators, one of my first pieces of advice is I hope that that quote right there motivates you to branch out and test other mediums. And the reason I also say that is because once you try other mediums, even if you go back to the medium that you're most comfortable with, you've learned something and you can incorporate, oh, here's pottery, here's the fashion, here's this. You can incorporate that into your original medium. And then you can even apply your original medium. Mine was just drawing simply at first, but I don't want to rehearse. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to curse. I'm just saying. It started off as drawing, but I would start off as an observational drawer, an observational artist. I can only draw what I see. That makes things very limited. That makes very things very limited. So how do you draw the things that are not seen? And they say one thing about an artist is that an artist is the portal to the things not seen. And you have a vision that people cannot see. And that vision is for you, and it's up to you to bring it forth in the world and show it the best way you can. So, if you decide to delve into content creation, there's going to be a couple things that you're going to definitely need. Now, the easiest and simplest way to get going is to just use, right now, I'm using my iPad, but at the same time, using a phone. So, have multiple devices. And you probably want to have some devices that are small enough for you to carry and travel with. Your phone is going to be the easiest one. So now, with multiple devices, and this is if you start to delve into photography, because you got to show off your art some way. And then it's not always just going to be a picture. So you got to be able to delve into something videography, and y'all learn how to edit. So when you delve into photography and videography, the equipment that you're using can limit you, or one of the good things about the starving artist, right? The good thing about the starving artist is that at first it's a mentality of not being able to do something because of some type of limited resource. Phone this back this way. The first part of being an artist is, well, one of the struggles with being an artist is, okay, if I have this grand idea, how do I bring it forth? How do I do it with what I have? That's the question that you should be asking, because sometimes it's, you might be like, oh, the money, the time, the resources, whatever it is. The big question to help reframe your mind is, how can I do this with the resources that I do have? It's how can I? And you just, and you, it's like it can be annoying, but you need to do that, and you put yourself in that frame of mentality. How can I? How can I? And just keep asking yourself, how can I do this? How can I do this? And the thing about being a starving artist is that it puts you in a creative mode mindset setting. And then the other part is, what if I mess up? If you have a pencil, use your eraser. If you're recording, record again. Record again. No liver, heart, organs, girl from Oregon named Morgan. I'm just saying, record again. You say, okay, this is what messed up this time, so this is what I'm gonna do it this time. Aaliyah says, dust yourself off and try again. If you're painting, paint over it. Paint over the mistake. I let the hole burn too long right here. Use some string, put it back together. The first video I recorded on the DVR, my head was chopped off. That was a mistake. I can record it again, fix the mistake. The thing about mistakes is that they get you closer to where you need or want to be. That's why you can't, that's why you shouldn't be afraid of the mistakes. Because another guy once said that mistakes are like success points. How bad is a mistake if you learn from it? So that's what you're gonna learn from every iteration. Okay, this is what I did. What do you see the iPhone doing? Each time, it may be a small iteration, but it gets you closer and closer to where you would like to be. Even if it is just the camera, gets you closer and closer. And that's why for me, it's what type of artist are you? I'm just an artist. Just an artist. It doesn't matter if it's the pottery, it doesn't matter if it's fashion, it doesn't matter if it's poetry, it doesn't matter if it's poetry, it doesn't matter if it's a book, it doesn't matter if it's author, writing. Painting, drawing. I'm an artist. Because I remember one time I had an influx of people come to my page. And the one thing I was like, man, with all these people here, they don't know that I do art. I didn't want that to happen again. I said the next time there's an influx of people that see me, I want them to know that I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, acting, directing, painting, drawing, poetry, Arthur. I want them to know that I have many gifts. So show off your art however you see fit. Even with the fashion. I got to a point where it was like, man, they might not notice this here or that there. The visuals are moving too fast. Well, you can do multiple sets of visuals. Do some content explaining your art. Give them close-ups, details. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Like I just said, like I had iteration. I did cuts on one shirt and I liked them up here, but when I turned around to the back, you couldn't really see them. I had to, like, you know what I'm saying, maneuver in such a way. That's why I had to put them a little further down. And now you can see it. And now you can see it. Close-ups, details. Show off your art. I was sitting there doing all that. Now, I do have another video that also kind of listed some actual just video ideas that you can also do, and so I'm mentioning some of them. One of them is, who is the artist? You know what I'm saying? Talk about yourself. The artist behind the art. Do close-ups, details. What's the best setting for you? When do you feel the most creative? What medium do you like to use? Why? What medium do you dislike? Why? How can you talk about likes and dislikes if you don't try it? Like, I can say, I'm not a fan with drawing, right? Started off drawing on paper. What if we want to draw bigger? Start off drawing on canvases. I was showing people my art with the canvases. They wanted to see color. The color pencils I was using were too bland. So what gives off a brighter, more vivid color? Pastels. Now, the thing about pastels, rubbing up your thumb on it, that starts to really agitate your thumb, smearing in the pastels, but the color is more vibrant. Painting, my first painting sucked, but that was my first. I got a lot better at it. Painting portraits, I'll give one piece of advice for somebody who wants to paint portraits. Take your time. That's one thing art is going to teach you, to be patient. Patience is a virtue, but I ain't never wait long enough to say the mother. It's true. Patience. Paint one piece at a time. Like if you're painting the eye, just paint the eye. Paint one eye, and then right as you paint that eye, paint the next part, and paint like really. And if you still need to add details of that, just paint one piece at a time. And another thing, don't be afraid to switch up your brushes. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you be on one brush and you just want to keep using that one brush. Switch brush, You need some finer details. Switch brush if you want to cover a large, if there is a large area that needs to be covered. And do it every day. Do it every day. Doesn't matter how much, what it is. Do at least a little every day. Whether it's you just, if you even if you just take a picture, record a video, or even just, you know, you can vlog and just chat and just record about what do you want to do. I don't know having that time for this, but when I get enough time, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to go about it. These are the materials I think I need to go get. Like if you want to do oil painting, you need at least like 5 to 6 different types of equipment materials to get started with it. Outside of just the canvas and the brushes, the type of paint, you're gonna need some thinner. You're gonna need some equipment to do oil painting. I never oil painted, but how do I know this? Do a little research. That is still investing in your art. That's still investing in your art. Do a little research. I've never oil painted, but I know that I would need some thinner, this different type of medium. I'm going to have to mix something with the paints. There's like 2 things I think you got to mix with it or something like that. But and then if you can, set some time aside to just practice. Like when I did my movie, one part of my movie, I did a pre-edit for my movie. And I'm glad I did the pre-edit because there were 2 things I forgot. I forgot my gloves. The gloves were in my NASCAR jacket. So I knew, okay, next time make sure I get my NASCAR jacket. The first time I recorded loading up, I was like, man, that's so far away, can't really see that. Do a close-up for next time. And that ended up being the intro for the movie, the close-up, while I'm showing Graffiti Jungle, some Gentle Thoughts, Season 8. And I wrote all this down before I did it. I said, okay, I want to. I found out it was Lil Wayne's birthday. I got so excited. And then I realized, oh man, it was yesterday. But that's still a video I wanted to do. Then I'm just uploading my videos on YouTube, and then I figure out, oh man, Cigar Talk is about to hit 2,000 episodes. So what do I want to do for the 2,000 episode? Then I'm looking at my videos, and one of the videos is one of my cigar outfits of the day is doing pretty well. It's doing better than what it normally does. So I'm like, it can be a cigar outfit today. And then now that I had the camera, I wanted to do the review on the camera, the tutorial for that. I wrote all of that down. But after having the digital camcorder, and playing with that, I'm like, yo, some content and creative advice for artists, and then hearing that quote, content and creative advice for some artists. You know what I'm saying? Oh, now, if you have multiple devices, if you have multiple devices,
you're going to need a mobile charger. How many mobile chargers should you have? Well, I have one that can charge multiple devices at the same time. I have another one that can charge multiple devices at the same time because it also has the wireless charging. So make sure you have multiple chargers, which means you're probably gonna have to have.
A couple cords, one for your phone. Unless you got an Android, then you got. If I had an Android, right now I have to have two cords, one for the iPhone and the Android. But if you just had an Android, that one cord can now charge your phone and multiple devices. In this case, multiple carrying devices. Well, I would need it because I had a DVR and that's an Android charger. So I've done almost everything for today. And last thing, well, no. I did everything I wanted to do for it. The Little Wayne video is loading right now. The cigar outfit of the day, that was loading up. Cigar outfit of the day, Little Wayne video. Content, the DVR. I did the how to review for the DVR, and now I already had the stream set up for my phone, but I was like, well, how can I go ahead and get the? Because I knew I wanted to make it a separate, its own segment, the content creator advice. One thing I could do from the phone is look at the timestamp and put timestamps in it, but just go ahead and give it its own segment, just like that. But these are things that you will learn as you go about your process of creating. You know, I am legend. He be sending out that message every day. If anybody gets this message, anybody can hear me. Any of the artists and content creators out there, I hope that you learned something from my mistakes, so that you don't have to go through the same thing. Or you got some inspiration, some motivation to do something.